right. I'm going to be slowing that music down and we'll be starting in just a moment. Get the recording going, which it is, which is awesome. And we'll have people I know filtering in throughout the session. And I'm just really happy to see we have Melvin here. We have Ijoma from the last few days here. I'm so happy that you've made it back. And today is all about public speaking, which I know is really scary for some people. And I think it's really interesting to see how artists pitch themselves, especially when they have gallery openings, when people ask them what they do. So today we're going to talk a lot about that. And before I really dive in, I want to get your perspective on public speaking. So in the chat, please tell me if you've had experience with it, if you hate it, if you love it. I want to know how you feel about it, and I want to get to know you a little bit better on that end. So feel free to use that chat. This is interactive, and it will require, some conversation and thinking out loud today. So please put your comments in the chat. If you feel like taking yourself off mute, you can also do that.
And before we get super started, can I do our intros? Is that okay?
Oh, of course. Renee, you take the mic.
All righty. Well, everybody, welcome to GEW. That stands for Global Entrepreneurship Week. This is GEWARTS. GEW was started to make it easier for anyone, anywhere to start a business. It covers 200 countries, 20,000 partners, 40,000 activities, and 10 million people. We started GEWARTS in 2019 to give artists the same opportunities as all these other businesses. We want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, the Maryland State Art Council. And thank you for joining us today for day three of our GEWARTS, which is Sell, Speak, Stand Out, the art of public speaking. And now I'm going to introduce my partner, China.
Thank you for the introduction, Renee. We started Operation Arts in 2018 and officially became a nonprofit in 2020. Our mission is to develop the creative economy. Our organization encourages better business practices and economic growth for all. We lay the foundation for profitable collaborative relationships between artists, businesses, and the community by streamlining opportunities. We create financial stability for artists by providing them with the resources to help them succeed. Our programming consists of local art gallery staging, professional development events, public art, marketing support, resource sharing, opportunity cultivation, career training, and internships. And without further ado, I'll hand this back over to Saz Ross.
Hey, everybody. So happy that you're here. And for those that have just entered, I love the fact that Jess is here. Jess is going to be presenting on Friday. Please put into the chat any feelings that you have about public speaking, whether you have had experience or not, whether you love it or hate it. I want to know all about it. Ijoma, do you feel comfortable taking yourself off mute and giving us a little bit more context about your experience with public speaking?
Yes, it's actually, my name is Ijoma.
Ijoma, I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. Thank you. I've had experience with public speaking. Since I'm currently in school, we have to do presentations. And I always had difficulty speaking, and then I guess what's the word, losing contact with what I'm saying. I'm just rambling during a presentation. So I usually now have to create a script in my head that I memorize, and I have to go up on stage and go through my memory to memorize that. I wonder if there's other ways that I could still present but not have to do that method and still speak flawlessly without rambling.
I love that. I hope today will help you. And I think everyone's guilty of rambling, right? When we lose track of a thought, and then we're talking about Star Wars all of a sudden. So just thinking about how do we stay on point, right? How do we have focus with what we're saying? And how do we represent ourselves as an artist, as a brand, right? Because everything that comes out of our mouth is part of our brand. Let's talk to Melvin. Melvin, do you feel comfortable taking yourself off mute and giving us a little history about your experience with public speaking? It's okay if you cannot, but feel free to let us know.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey,
Hey,
yeah.
how you doing? Okay, I gotta speak low because I'm at work. But
Okay.
yeah, public speaking, I am not good at it. I pretty much hate it, and that's the truth. This
Okay.
makes me really nervous. It's like it does. It makes me really nervous.
Yeah. Good. I
Um,
mean, fair.
yeah, yeah, that's
What
about
kind
it.
of an artist are you?
Huh?
What kind of an artist are you?
Pretty much graphic design, digital art. Um, um, like media. I'm back in the school for digital media productions, like film, audio, engineering, stuff like that right now. So I'm just getting it all together and have business, but I put everything on pause so I can just get better at certain skills I need and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's me.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
That's amazing. We'll exercise some of those skills today. And we're going to get some practice in with public speaking and pitching ourselves. And we'll be hopefully a little bit more comfortable about it. And then last but not least, Jess, if you can take yourself off mute, if you can't, just let me know. What's your experience with public speaking and just give us a little history of it.
Hi, Saz. Yes, so public speaking, I have done a lot in formats like this, kind of where we are now with Zoom. I think I've done one in person, and I think I have some stage fright. So I feel like in terms of on video in the comfort of my home, that feels super comfortable for the most part, especially if I know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to like, my full body being on a stage, I like am getting like embarrassed just thinking about it. So
Oh my goodness. I think, well, everyone has been accustomed to conversing this way, and the pandemic has made us accustomed to sharing information with each other in this format. So stepping outside of that to be on a stage or in front of a big group of people in person, completely different story. So I know and I understand that fear. I have been able to overcome that fear in time, but I've helped a lot of artists get on a platform that allows them to talk about what they do with confidence. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today is how can I pitch myself with confidence, whether I'm at a gallery opening or I'm at an event, I'm doing a creative workshop, right? We talked about streams of income and how creative workshops can be lucrative, right? Education, people pay for learning and different types of information on the internet all day long. So how can we use our public speaking abilities to truly promote ourselves? Because if we're comfortable with speaking out loud, we'll be comfortable with promoting ourselves, even in an online world. It translates and transfers, I promise. So let's really dive in today and get a good close look at public speaking. I think today we're going to be diving into what artists love to do. We love talking about ourselves. We love talking about our art and how we're in a basement cranking it out all day long. We love talking about ourselves, even though sometimes we really don't think so. Once we get started, we really don't shut up about it. So if you have passion for digital arts, muraling, writing, we're really going to pour that out today. And we're going to take that love and we're going to put it in our speech. And we're going to take that passion in our hearts and we're going to use our words to really articulate some of the things that we do best as artists and who we are, what we represent. Okay, so we're going to present mode this little baby right here. And we're going to dive in. I'm going to give you a little background about myself, and eventually you're going to be sharing your story, where you started, how you got into your business, how you were able to take your creative thoughts and put them into action to create a product. And this happened for me, I want to say in 2015. In 2015, I printed an artwork for the very first time. And that led to a series of beautiful animal artworks. that I was able to sell in person for the very first time. Now, how did I get to that place? I feel like with art teaching, I gained so much confidence with talking to students on a regular basis and being the subject of their, of whatever they were, I felt like I was sometimes standing in front of the classroom and they were just looking at me and judging me the entire time. So that gave me enough confidence to be like, hey, I'm criticized on a daily basis without even, realizing it sometimes. What do I have to lose here with printing an artwork and getting in front of a different audience of people? So you might even be in an environment without realizing it that is allowing you to put yourself out there. So I have this little thing that I speak about. It's called getting lost in creativity to be found in the eyes of confidence. And that's essentially what I did in 2015. And since then, every year I've been able to challenge myself and add another branch to the tree of my business. So this really involved exploring pen. I actually used to be a printmaker, similar to what you saw with yesterday's session with Michael. I know Melvin wasn't there. I used to slap ink on plexiglass and put different textures, scratch into it, and print it. I was a student at the time, and I had Towson's art studio to do those things. So I was set until I graduated and didn't have a studio, but I had a very comfy couch. I still loved ink, but I wanted to figure out a way to use ink in a way that was suitable for my circumstances. So I picked up a pen and I became completely addicted. I loved the contrast. I loved the confidence that it gave me. I couldn't erase. I had to embrace mistakes constantly. So picking up the pen was probably one of the best things for my own confidence. And I was able to just make and make and make every day after school. I was an art teacher at the time, and I just went home and doodled away every night on my couch. I couldn't wait to come home and do it. And I eventually started to print my work and sell it because I had people really genuinely curious about some of these creatures I was making and the animals I was creating. And it seemed to appeal to enough people to make prints out of them and make sense of selling them. All right, so I said selling, and that's exactly what I did. I did sell online, but I didn't feel like I was making genuine connections. I was like, who are these people? Are they robots? Are they real people? I don't know. Algorithms keep changing. So the one thing I could always rely on was setting up a booth and speaking about my work, practice that art of speaking with festivals and events. So this is one event that I had last month, and that's a typical setup for me with grid walls, art facing out. And then I have all my little framed pieces and artworks kind of just trickled in inside. And then my first show ever was actually with China, leader of Operation of Arts. And it was a show called Raw. And this company contacted me like they do with a lot of artists. And they were like, hey, you want to share your stuff? You got to invite 20 people. You got to sell at least 20 tickets. So by the time they had this event, tons of people were there. And it was a really nice way for me to just put myself out there with a ton of other artists behind me. And since then, I've just been selling away. And with those markets and those festivals, I was able to make connections with a lot of cool people in the community. I've designed labels for food products. I've designed skateboards for Charm City Skate. And I've designed record albums for different music artists. And it's just been so rewarding. I've done wedding invitations. I've put my art on, merchandise and T-shirts, and I've helped other businesses, build their brand by helping them create a visual voice and using pen to do all of these things, making it very magical, and a little bit of watercolor. Sometimes you see that in the doodles. So I was getting commissions, I was getting business, and these last few years, a lot's happened. I had a baby. I, I was making murals before this baby, and I was doing great things. And then once I had her, I wanted to get back and really dive into my stuff. But I also wanted to help other people do the same thing. Coming from a nonprofit world, an education world, I was like, how can I do this? How could I help others with all this stuff that I've done? And that's how I created the Print Pact. My good friend Colin, he's not here today, but he is a business partner of mine, and we recruit artists and find artists and put their work in brick and mortar stores. So, which is something you don't need to learn an algorithm for, but it is great because it gives you this sense of credibility as an artist, and you're sharing your brand, you're sharing your work with so many different people that just drop into a cafe or a skateboard shop or a boutique. All of these amazing partnerships we've gained over the last several months. I know this is so fresh, but it's just skyrocketed. And it's so great to see other artists in a space that they didn't even know that they could exist in. So yeah, a salon before you're getting your hair done, someone's whipping through a basket of prints, so a hot dog shop. We are in so many different places in Baltimore now, and it's wonderful to see how well received these baskets have been. So yeah, this application is on the Padlet, by the way. But yeah, I've been able to help many artists, mentor thousands of people, and get into speaking about my art, which has been really exciting. So speaking about my work while helping other people access their own creativity. And I did a TED Talk on getting lost and the art of being lost, which had a lot to do with the workshop I did on Monday, but how that surfaces the highest creative potential in our brains. And then, of course, virtual engagements like this, how important it's been to create a sense of confidence with creativity during the pandemic. So speaking has taken me in many different directions, and it's also another stream of income that I have that could possibly be a stream of income for you if you decide that you want to go that route and take public speaking to a new level. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but essentially what I want us to get comfortable with is our introduction statement today. So telling us what kind of artist you are, right? Give us your name, give us your art form, and tell us how you transform. What does your work do for other people? How is it different, right? What is your edge? So let's unearth our edge today. Get a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down an introduction statement, right? I want you to put down your name, your art form, what you do for others with that art form, if that's the case, or what is the inspiration for your art? Put it in a nice, juicy statement. Let's do it right now. You can drop it in the chat or you can say it out loud. Of course, I'd prefer if you said it out loud because it gets us practicing already. But please put that together, and I'll give you a minute or two to do that. Let's have Renee put on a little music in the background, but you have about a few minutes to put this together, and we'll do a share.
For those of you just joining us, right now we're working on a statement that describes us and our business. Take a moment, try to put it in the chat, write it down, get ready to share.
let's turn down the music.
Got you.
This is something that is forever evolving. So even if you didn't nail down all the words that you want to get in here, look at this as an artwork in progress. We are going to practice this without me sharing any speaker tips and tricks. We're going to start this off with a clean slate. Of course, when you speak, you want to speak about your work with passion and heart. So please put that in mind as you say your speaker introduction or your artist introduction out loud. Do we have any brave souls who would like to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So definitely, like I have a few different sides of my business, but I feel like probably the best description of where I want to go with speaking, my phrase would be something along the lines of, "Hi, my name is Jess. I am a designer, muralist, and mindset and pricing coach. And I help creative entrepreneurs like you feel confident as fuck and get paid their value." I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on here, but
It's
You
fine.
are. Yes. I loved the even though it was a curse word, you put a lot of umph in it, but you
Yeah.
really you are articulate, and I know that there is confidence behind those words. So thank you for going first, breaking the
Yeah.
ice. Yes, and we're gonna drizzle a few more ingredients, and we're gonna sprinkle some toppings on that today. So great base, great ice cream flavor. The toppings are gonna come with it. Who would like to go next?
I believe Ijoma was about to speak as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ijoma. I'm an author, screenwriter, and filmmaker. I use my creative voice to rise to the forefront of revolutionary conversations about community, society, and identity with the power of art, STEM, and/or storytelling.
Beautiful. Yes. That was pretty juicy. You have a lot of information in there. And I know it's something that we just wrote, so you're reading from it, which is expected. But eventually it's going to be something where it's in second nature for you to just say it and say it with conviction. So later on, when you do your promo and I put the mic or I give you the mic and I give you the stage, you'll say that again, and it'll be in a setting where you're speaking as if you're just talking to a friend about what you do. So beautiful ice cream base. And I'm really, really proud of that little blurb that you just made. So excellent work. All right. How about Melvin? And then Melvin, if you're, I think you said you're at work or school, and that's totally fine. You can plop that right in the chat if you want.
Right.
Would anyone else like to give it a shot?
I can throw my pitch out there if you guys want to hear it. All right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Taylor. I am a performing artist, a visual artist, and a culinary artist, and that's what I want to speak on today. I wanted to come in and tell you about my new product, Maryland Mumbo Sauce, which I created because I wanted to capture the flavors of our region. That's what I got.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel the way that you said that feels like you've said it many times.
Oh, great. I definitely just came up with that. I have not spoken on this product at all.
There is an ease with it. You seem very comfortable saying that out loud. So I think there is definitely like a natural ability that you have. But today we're going to give it a little more pizzazz. We're not going to rush it. We're going to actually emphasize words and learn how to say words without making them seem daunting or boring. Because I know that you've heard this before. Sometimes it isn't about what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, right? How are you getting someone's attention? How are you making someone care about what you have to say? And knowing how to emphasize the right words can get you there. So telling someone that I'm an illustrator, entrepreneur, and a keynote speaker, I unlock and elevate creative thinking in diverse spaces by using storytelling and vulnerability to activate personal and professional growth. So those key words there, right? I'm activating those skill sets, and I'm making sure that I'm using storytelling and vulnerability to get there. So beautiful. An introduction shouldn't be too long. It shouldn't be too short. It should be the Hansel and Gretel, just not Hansel and Gretel. Is it Goldilocks and Three Bears? Yes, it is. Just right. So we're going to get there. It's going to be great. And we'll have time to practice the art of this. So we are going to talk about our own things. And I know that you've already mentioned about, your feelings about public speaking, but there are a few people that have joined us and I want to get their perspective on it. So I know that someone just joined. Is it Daniela or Danielle?
It was Danielle, but Jenny just hopped in.
Jenny, okay. Jenny as well. Would you like to share some of your feelings about public speaking? We've already had a few people share, and I want to get to know you a little bit. So give me a little bit of background or history about your experience with public speaking, or if you like it, hate it, all the above.
Hi, thank you. So this is Jenny. I'm sorry I joined the class a little bit late, but I figured it's better late than never. So happy to be here. My feelings about public speaking. Well, I have always been anxious speaking publicly. Since I was a little girl, I would turn all red, and I'd be of teamwork and team presentations. So practice does not make perfect. It just helps you learn a skill you don't know. So that's about it.
Wow, thank you for giving that beautiful little history of your experience with public speaking. I'm really happy you came. It's never too late. That's the attitude I want everyone to have about public speaking. It's never too late. You can always feel like you haven't missed the mark, because the more that you are able to practice, like you mentioned, it does get better. But there are things that will help you improve your speech, because sometimes practice makes permanent, right? Sometimes we do the same things over and over again and it doesn't give us results. So there are some speaker sauce ingredients. I know Renee is going to love this because she makes sauce. So speaker sauce ingredients today that will be super helpful in making ourselves stand out as speakers. Now, just based on what you've seen, if you've attended a conference, if you've seen someone speak that has captivated you and your interest, are there any ingredients that you think might be missing from the sauce bowl? Any ingredients at all? And you can shout them out, put them in the chat. Renee will say them out loud if it's in the chat. And yeah, any ingredients here that you think belong that are not here?
Eye contact.
Okay, absolutely. Eye contact, right? Does help our confidence level if we just form one-on-one connections with people in the crowd as we speak, even if it's virtual. Anyone else?
Clarity.
Yes, clarity, articulation. Look at this. This bowl is not big enough. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, no worries. You can slide that into the chat if you have a feeling about it. But just to briefly go over some of these ingredients: telling a story, giving the context about you, what you've been through as a person and how it impacts your work. You want to draw those connections about your history and your story to your work. It makes it all the more interesting and even more relatable for people to really get to know you as an artist. Personal meaning, making sure that you have elements of things that really matter to you in your work. Confidence, really getting up there, sharing that work you do with a sense of self, being proud, having pride in what you do. All of these elements directly correlate to showing confidence, right? There should be a sense of pride about, and maybe a little bit of an ego. That's totally fine when you're speaking. Stance, having the proper posture, relatability, drawing connections to your crowd and your audience, depending on where you are. pace, how fast or slow your speech is, and finding that element of just right. Same thing with tone, right? We're not shouting. If we shout everything we say, it's hard for us to feel any impact or emphasis on the words that we truly want people to resonate with. So these are, and data and stats. Sometimes it does help people. It drives home a point that you're making when there are statistics behind some of the things that you do. If you're an environmental artist, maybe sharing some things about us that might startle us regarding statistics about global warming, right? So thinking about all of those things can make you a more impactful speaker. And hopefully this will help you. This bowl of ingredients will help you when we put the spotlight on you today. Okay, so we'll take a speaker pledge, and you don't have to put yourself off mute because it's just going to be like a bunch of people saying crazy words and we won't be able to hear what we're saying. But put yourself on mute, put one hand in the air, and we're going to do a pledge together. Let me know if you're ready. Is everyone ready? You can nod your head. Okay, good. Thumbs up. Say this with me. Remember, we're on mute. On my honor, I will try to speak about what I do with confidence, articulation, and pride, while sharing with people the importance of my work and how I've been able to impact those around me. That is the speaker pledge. I want all of us to really hone into that and think about that as we speak today. I feel like a Girl Scout. I don't know if we have Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts here, but I love the pledge. It just reminds us what we're here to do. So yeah, speaking benefits, we all know: networking, pride, community, clear messaging, niche building, discovering your audience. All of these things help your brand, help your product, and help you sell. So even though you think maybe speaking doesn't have a lot to do with your business, if you create a stage or a presence for speaking, you will be able to sell more than you've ever expected. It will level up your confidence in ways that you have never even thought it could. So really important for us to know those benefits. And what I want us to do before we share the stage, because we are going to have people up here, I wanted to do a little breakout session so that you could really truly get to know some of the artists here on a personal level. I know that practicing it on a smaller stage helps you for the bigger stage. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this because we do want to spotlight your work. We want to have time for your promotion, to look at your website and sales and things that you've done. So but what I'm going to do is Renee or China, they're going to put you in a room. I think you don't have a ton. Let me see here. Stop share for a second.
Gonna do like 3 and 3.
Yep, we'll do 3 and 3. You guys can have maybe a few minutes each, and then I'll take it to about maybe 4:50. We'll do 10 minutes for you to really connect as much as possible. And I have these 5 prompts, more like 4, with the 5th one being information, 3 minutes each, about putting yourself in there with an intro, sharing your art form, and explaining how you connect with your work from a personal standpoint, maybe a history of how you became an artist. This is your warm up before we get to the main stage. So let's get these breakouts going. You might see me in there popping in. And get ready to share. Darrell, thank you for being here. I think that's awesome that we gained us a new person. Just to brief you on what we've done so far, we have been able to introduce ourselves with our art form, a brief history of how we became an artist, and why our work has personal meaning. So if you want to let that marinate for a second, I want you to think about all of those things because we are now going to be turning the spotlight to everyone here. You'll be able to share a lot about your work. I want to say I like to give people about 5 minutes. I'm going to share really quickly some of the things that you want to keep in mind as you share your work today, especially from a public speaking standpoint. You don't want to rush through your words. You want to make sure that you say your words with pride, that you slow down when you really want people to connect with something that you're saying because it has something to do with the greater good, or it's a statistic that might startle someone. It could be something that happened to you in your personal life that a lot of us may have experienced as well. So make sure that you connect on all of those levels. I think it's going to be super important as you share your work, and hopefully the words that you say here can transfer and translate to other environments where it will be essential for you to speak out loud. Let's see here. So I'm going to put myself in present mode once more. And we'll be able to just hone in on some of the things that will help us with our 5 minutes in the spotlight on the main stage with everyone here. So we've been able to reflect a little bit. Before we dive in, does anyone have any thoughts, feelings about that mini session? Do you feel like you have a little boost of confidence now? How did that go with your mini session?
We have a thumbs up from Jess in the chat.
Yeah?
Yeah, got some thumbs up.
You feel warmed up? All right. I like that energy. It's time to take the stage. We are going to go in a back-to-back format. So what we'll do is we'll see who feels the most ready, and we'll just keep going at that pace. What you're going to do with your 5 minutes, you'll talk about your introduction statement, what we worked on in the very beginning, discussing who you are as an artist, how you impact the greater good or others with your art form and what you do. And then you can present your website. You'll get hosting abilities. And then something else I want you to be mindful of is our Padlet. If you want anyone who's attended this workshop to look at your website, maybe buy something from your store, I'm going to slide the Padlet link into the chat. You can upload your work today in the column that says day 3. And then underneath the column, there's going to be a plus sign. If you click the plus sign, a window pops open and you can copy and paste your link right in here. On this top section, you'll see an orange icon. You can put the website link there, or you can upload a picture of your work and put that in the subject line, the title, and the medium. However you want to share your work today, that is totally up to you. But just keep in mind, this Padlet goes out to the entire community. So it's really the best way to share whatever you have going on. I'm going to stop share, and I will transfer hosting abilities to whoever wants to pitch themselves first. And then once you're done pitching yourself, we'll have a part of that where we reflect on what you said and maybe sprinkle in some constructive advice for future speaking. So you'll get something out of it. Anybody here ready with their website, pictures or videos of their work? Who can I give the hosting spotlight to first?
Who do we have ready? Do we have any hands up?
This whole thing is about promotion. So have pride in what you're going to share, whatever that is. Whatever you want.
This is Darrell Page.
Hey, Darrell.
Hey, so I don't know you got the format that you guys went over, but
Okay.
I can go first.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to subscribe to anything in particular. You don't have to have this, routine based structure. We did talk about some advice and some tips and tricks for sharing your work and making people interested in what you have to say by using pace and eye contact and all these things. It will be the most helpful to put yourself on video so we can actually see you and engage with you. That helps with public speaking because you have to use facial expression and it forces you to really get out of your comfort zone. So if you're able to put your video on, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was
Yeah.
I was driving, but I'm actually about to pull over, so I can do this.
Oh, good. Safely. Safely.
Definitely safety first.
Yeah. Good.
Thanks for joining us, Darrell.
1 second. I definitely appreciate you guys for having me on here too. This is dope. I actually just came from a entrepreneur. It was a meet and greet where everybody was just talking about their business and what they do. So
you had a warm-up session? That is so cool. You're ready for this. That is so awesome.
That's why I was like, let me just go ahead and just go. Okay, I'm at the park right now. Okay. All right, I am parked.
Thank you for parking.
Now, no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Am I echoing?
No, you're not echoing. Are you going to be able to share screen? Do you want me to give you hosting abilities or not needed?
I don't. Like I said, I just got done with that, so let me see if I have something to share screen wise.
Sure.
Now, how do I do that?
Or even drop a link in the chat, like if your website or anything else that can help give us a picture of what you do and what you create.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So let me do
that. Yeah.
First. Share.
That works. When he drops that in the chat, Saz, can you share that on your screen for him?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Okay, we're gonna get this website up. Let's go. It's go time. All right. And I'm gonna share screen so everyone can see your amazing work. Okay. Okay, and I think we're here.
I think so.
Like there's something about fashion here. That's awesome. Yep. Sorry, it's taking a second. And boom, here we go. All right, Darrell, you ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Darrell Page. I am the owner of Ayo Boutique Clothing Store in Baltimore and in Westminster, Maryland. I started Ayo Boutique back in 2018 with just an idea where I went to many brands from all over the world just with an idea of just, hey, I would like you guys to be a part of this store. And that transitioned from me just asking people about being in a store collectively to now becoming a part of the actual Ayo umbrella. And what I mean by the Ayo umbrella is Ayo stands for all yet one. Ayo is an acronym that I turned from something that is a phrase here in Baltimore. When you say Ayo, everybody turns around. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. If you say Ayo in Baltimore, that's like how we call each other. So the science behind the name came to me as I was thinking of what to call my business. If I say Ayo Boutique, it is something that resonates with everybody in the city. Everybody, it doesn't matter who you are. And as building the store came along, everybody, it's not just my brand. It's everybody's brand. Whether you sell clothes, whether you sell candles, whether you have your own CBD line, we just house local entrepreneurs and give them a face more than just doing pop-up shops and selling out of their car. And like I said in the beginning, my idea was just to bring people inside of a store so it wouldn't just be my clothing brand. But just like any business that actually grows, I took the idea and it started expanding to, I want to give opportunities to people that are in the store from different countries, different cities, and actually give them their own platform, give them their own store. We went to Westminster, Maryland, where we had one brand, and we didn't exactly give them their own store. We wanted to show them how to actually run the store first. And that's how we actually acquired our second store in Westminster. It was a brand that started off in our first store. Now, everybody does pay a small fee to be in the store, but this gives everybody, the freedom of not having to haul their items around in their trunk, not having to just go to pop-up shops and only be seen on a Saturday or when you're selling your stuff out of your trunk. Now you can actually showcase your items in a store setting professionally around multiple vendors or multiple businesses and give yourself more of, when you tell your friends and your family, come and support me. They can come in an actual brick and mortar and support your business digitally. And that's our main store. We are a digital store where, just like on the website, it's not just one brand. There are now on the website, it's only about 30 brands, I believe. But we do house, like in that picture right there, we do house over 70 brands. And over the past 3 years, we have had about 300 brands come and go. Now, a lot of people ask, why do you have so many brands that come and go? And the whole reason behind that is, to me, it's a very beautiful thing. I give time for everyone to experience the store more than just joining the store and putting that pressure on you as an upcoming entrepreneur. Everybody does not have the chance to be in a store location. And most brands are very, very dope. They have so much potential, but they're only seen at pop-up shops, and they're only seen when they're selling stuff out of their trunks, which I feel like dims their light as a business and an entrepreneur. So as we grow as a team and as we build our businesses in other states, we are giving opportunity to a lot of people to be able to, like I said, have their own business. We want to do AYO Atlanta. We want to do AYO Mississippi, powered by these brands and powered by every entrepreneur that actually wants the opportunity to build with us as the AYO umbrella. So if anybody does have a brand, if anybody does have a business and they're looking to not just be in a store, we want to be able to give you the platform to learn, grow, and open up your own business under what we do here at AYO Boutique.
Yes, hurrah! This is so cool. I love what you do, and I love the fact that you're able to create this really approachable environment for artists and entrepreneurs. It's daunting to try to find places to sell work. Sometimes pop-ups are really not going to cut it for people, and this also gives artists a type of credibility to say that, hey, I do sell work in a store. And the fact that you've been able to host 300 plus brands is absolutely incredible. I think a few things about your speech, one being the confidence that you have in speaking is outstanding. I love the concept of AYO, and I think giving me a little bit of history about it was really, really, interesting and informative, which is essential. But as far as the pace, I think what maybe some fruits for for the future, some things that you can think about maybe is thinking about how you can zone in on a personal story from one of your brands in particular when you're speaking about it, and talk about the transformation that happened to some of the people in there, because people, I think they want to see, like, what happened with the impact in sales, or giving something that I'm trying to do. It's hard for me to do this in conversation sometimes, but like giving a stat about how many businesses fail within the first year, and
Nice.
maybe your business has been able to make other businesses thrive and stay in business because of your platform. So bringing that information to light can definitely be put into your speech and in your pitch, because people are like, wow, look, this really made a difference for these people, these brands, and these entrepreneurs. So that could be something you add.
I like that a lot. And I really appreciate that, because I am a sponge. And when you were saying it, it just made me realize how many stories that we actually do have that are like very personal, that are so, I mean, amazing stories that I could have added, but just you saying that, it just opens up my mind to, when I do go to speak again, or when I do these other conferences, when I do entrepreneurs talks, that is something that I can actually reel people in with. Because again, if you didn't say that, I I'm not gonna say I would never have spoken that out publicly, but that is something that I actually needed. You know what I mean? Like when I go speak, it's like I have ammo to go out and actually bring people. That is okay. I appreciate that definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy you're finding this helpful. Yep, putting people in the spotlight from your business and really being transparent about the results is so amazing. Like you gave the history, you gave me great context. And if you had to dive even deeper, knowing the stories of these people, knowing maybe that somebody was like, I don't know if this was this was the case for anyone, maybe living in their car or their living situation was unstable, and then they found this amazing platform that you had and started selling, and it gave them the confidence to sell in other places. Having that story be told is so powerful. It draws people into your brand, and it really makes them feel like, wow, this is a brand I need to support, because look at the impact they're making in the community. So I think you have an incredible concept, a wonderful business plan. And I think, like I was telling other people, you have a really good ice cream base. You just maybe have to add a few more toppings. Like everybody here could add toppings to their ice cream base.
I got sprinkles.
You got
Got you.
sprinkles. I'm here to give you sprinkles today.
I just want to add
Got
too,
Yep.
since Darrell missed the beginning, Saz has this awesome thing similar to what you do, where she helps with commission, or I'm sorry, with print pact. Do you want to
Yep,
talk
it's
about
called the
that?
Print Pact. Yep, it's a similar concept, but what we do is we take local artist work, mainly from Baltimore and DC, and we put them in brick and mortar stores throughout the city. So we spread their work in multiple physical locations. So I get drop-offs of artwork of new artists every month, and I put them, right now we have about 20 plus partnerships. And I have a business partner who helps me, and we sprinkle artwork all over the city in baskets. And we're drawn to places that don't have a lot in front of the register, like cafes, because it really spikes people's interest as they're waiting for coffee or something. But yeah, if anything, we try to find places where the work is seen, and we put them in stores throughout the city. And there are different membership packages with joining Print Pact. Like if you decide that you want to be a member, you can be a member and we can spread your work to about a third of our stores. Or if you want to be an ambassador for us and create a partnership, you can build that branch, and I will solidify the deal with whatever owner you put me in front of. And then you get a percentage of all the sales in that particular location because you created that partnership. So you have a chance to make money on even other people's work, which is awesome. So it really gives the person a sense of confidence about not only putting their work in a store, but securing partnerships with other businesses. So yeah, it has similarities, and I love this idea. I'm super attracted to it. It's awesome.
I'm super happy that you both connected, and hopefully you all can collaborate potentially after this event. But it was so awesome to bring you two together, because he does that on the fashion end and you do that on the print end, and we do that with the gallery end. So it's helping give artists those voice, especially with your pitch, Darrell. You can say like, hey, I connect the public with underground fashion. What's your impact statement? And just wanted to add that. So thank you.
Oh, love it. Darrell, can we give a big applause to Darrell? This is beautiful, fantastic work. I'm going to stop share just for now. I want to give some light to Melvin. And Melvin, if there are links that you want to send to us that we can stick in the chat, Darrell, your page is going to be on our Padlet for everyone to see. So thank you again for sharing that information. And Melvin, are you able to put yourself on video?
We'll give him a second.
Sure, no
Yeah,
worries.
for a second. Oh no, on the platform. Right, that. Renee about to get me in trouble. I don't put it on you because just right in front of me. Hey, I know my standing desk guys comparison. Hello, everybody. Okay, while I'm on the screen, tell me what I'm doing.
So what you're going to do is similar to what we practiced, you're going to talk about you, your creative brand, how you've been able to add personal meaning to that brand, and explain to me, like your elevator pitch, how are people impacted by what you do? Tell me about that. Tell me about your story.
Okay, so one thing, I got to keep my mask on because I'm at work. So
Totally fine. Yep.
all right. I know Renee likes that, but then all right. Well, I just what can I say? My company I slightly put on pause is called Chrysalis. A podcasting, the audio and video podcasting. I put it on pause because I realized there's some things I need to get together and learn more, and to get to that stage where I have less work time to focus on what me time is, which is what I want to do. But I split into 3 categories: creativity, innovation, and lifestyle, which I want people to tell their story. That's it. I want to tell stories. I want to bridge gaps. I want to be a bridge to bridge gaps. I got 3 categories because I hate the limitations of current media outlets, stuff like that. I mean, why do we kind of have limits? I mean, we need to have organization, but not really limits. That's pretty much it. Like,
do you have like any content you'd like to share about that, just to give us a better vision of?
I don't have any content or anything.
Okay.
I mean, my website is, I'm still in test phase. I mean, you can take a look at the picture right now.
Give us anything. Yeah.
I think I unlocked it and stuff. It's a little hard to do at work. Try the link real
Hop
quick.
into it, and I'll share screen.
Let's see if it open. I'll open it temporarily. Did it pop up for you?
I am in the process of waiting for it to pop up.
Right. Give me 1 second. I gotta get the phone. I'll put you on pause for 1 second.
Sure.
I love multitasking.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like, I'm growing even at work.
Interesting. Okay. So if anyone else wants to try this link right now, for me, it's not working.
Okay, let me give it a shot.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it is.
I think because I was building and stuff. So.
Oh, here we go. I have it. All right. I'm going to do a screen share so we all can see.
Yeah, because I was building and stuff, so it's a little slow to let people in because it's coming from a security. Yeah, just cut that little box off. That was something I was testing. So
that is so nice looking.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, it looks so good, Melvin. It's really coming together. I'm super proud of you because I've been seeing his grow his business from the beginning. So this is awesome.
Wow. Melvin, do you want to give us a little bit more information about your brand and the imagery that we're seeing right now?
Like,
what's Chrysalis mean to you? Why'd you choose
Chrysalis? Just transforming yourself and emerging into something different. It's like it's just emergence. It's just emergence because we're all emerging actually from different phases of our lives and stuff. One day we could be like, we're a learner, then we're a doer, then we're a master, then we're a inspirationer. I guess if that's a word. Inspirer. Yeah, that's the word. Sorry, I'm operating on 3 hours of sleep right now because I've been writing a lot of essays.
My gosh, Melvin. Well, let me tell you, I give you a lot of credit. That's a lot. That's not a lot of speech. I think the concept is super strong. I can't wait to see what language you put in here, just to give people a good idea about what you do. I know that in the beginning of this workshop, we did the introduction statement. Yeah. So really being succinct about and descriptive about what you do is super important. Were you able to write down your intro from the beginning?
No, I didn't get started on that yet. I
Okay.
just because I was dealing with somebody here.
Oh, it's okay. No, totally fine. I was just curious. If you had to do your intro for us, could you tell me what kind of an artist you are? And then tell me exactly what you do to impact the community. Yeah, to be as specific as you can. Just be, try to be as specific as you can.
Um,
What kind of an artist are you?
an open artist, pretty much. I'm like,
Are
I
you
don't like limits of it. I don't, I'm not the type of person that like really, I can't say I'm really into this type of art because there's so much art out here. I haven't experienced anything like that. I mean, yeah, there's some things I like. I'm kind of attracted to. Like, I'm really attracted to, like, ever since I was a kid, like the whole cyberpunk sci-fi stuff.
okay? Yeah.
But as in, like, but I find that, like, yes, there's things I don't like also, but I hate bottling myself up in ways because there's so much out here in the world to explore and check it out. Like, I remember where I first met you in real life was at the wine festival, and I got your coloring book
Aw,
there
yeah.
and stuff like that. I remember that. And and that was cool. Like, I like whimsical stuff, but it's like kind of weird when somebody said, like, well, aren't you really into like a lot of tech stuff? Like, no, I just like different stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep open, like, with that. And even with the stuff I play with, and
I know you were saying you tell stories with Chrysalis. Is there a certain way that you like to give people a platform to tell stories? Like, are you using video? Are you using audio?
It's gonna be video, audio, and pretty much I want to do is different formats of language as I can. Video, audio, transcripts, whatever, just so people's stories can be seen and heard by as many people as possible.
Okay. So it sounds go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think the best way to brand yourself would be a storyteller.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you'd be called a storyteller. So if someone at, like, Darrell mentioned being at an entrepreneurship event, if you were at an event and someone wanted to know about your brand and what you do and ask you who you are, you could even present yourself as a storyteller.
Okay.
Surface the stories of creatives all over the world.
I like that.
By allowing them to use their voice and creativity and work as a platform for all of these different beautiful messages that they provide. So, and that obviously is depending on what kind of people that you're reaching. I think a really good resource for you could be Art 21. It's a business. It's basically it's a documentary series of artists. Yeah, you probably have heard it. And that, I think, has a similar feel to this, but I like the broad spectrum of media that you're putting in here. Other than just video, you're putting in, obviously audio, picture. So there's so many different layers to this. I think that's really intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely like one reason why I went back to school is so that I can have access to different resources so I can figure it out.
Yeah.
And then see, like, okay, what can I really build at home? What can I really, knock it down and, brain jack my professors.
No, I think that's beautiful. I can't wait to see what stories you surface. And I love the fact that, you don't put yourself in a box. I think that is a really broad, how do I say this? That is an upper level thinking framework.
Thank you.
It really is. So keep challenging yourself. I think the concept is beautiful. The language behind it, though, is really going to uplift the message. So I'll be keeping my eye out for what you put in the about section of this website. And I love where it's heading, the branding of it, just visually, the brand name, everything comes together with your icon, your logo.
Hit the connect that I think I put an about in the connect part. I might have.
Let's take a peek.
So I could cut down space.
All right.
I think. Did I?
a little blurb right here. Okay, good.
Yeah, that one.
Convergence of creativity, innovation, and lifestyle. By bridging these gaps, we hope to inspire.
I'm right here. I just got to mute 1 second. I'm still here.
By showing the path that others have taken to accomplish their dreams. This will be done by immersive engagement through media technology and events. So what's interesting here is you're putting lifestyle in an art form. So things that might not trigger people as art is art in your business. So really the art of living is something that's highlighted in your brand, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's really nice. I don't know if you love The Office, but there's something that's said by Pam in the last episode of The Office, and she's saying that there is something beautiful about the fact that they decided the whole concept of the show is that they were being put in a documentary, and they chose an office, which seems so ordinary, but she was saying that there's beauty in the ordinary. So I think what you're doing is putting beauty in the ordinary here by highlighting stories of people maybe not seen as professional artists, but people who make creative choices and live life to the fullest on their own terms. And there is creativity in that. So I think finding the creativity where it normally wouldn't be seen or found is what you're going to do with this. And I mean, that is really empowering and wonderful. I really can't wait to see how this evolves.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely 100% like give you the heads up. With that, well, China and Renee, they're definitely getting a heads up.
Yeah, put it in the Padlet.
Oh yeah.
Put it in the Padlet. That's so good. So another thing is, I know that I have another artist. She said she'd be joining in about 7 minutes. Melvin and Darrell, since you're here, I want you to make the most of this time. And if you're able to, I know Darrell's like on the side of the road somewhere in a parking lot. If you can, I would like to see if you are able to use the Padlet. And with the next 5 minutes, I want you to take time to submit the links, pictures, or anything that encompasses your brand. It could be a logo, it could be a blurb about what you do. But now that we've had some time to speak out loud, I think it's time for other people to see what you do. And the best way to do that is to share it right in that Padlet. So we put the link in there. We could put it in there again. Operation Arts Padlet. I'm going to copy paste real quick here. Take a click. It's user friendly on mobile as well. So Jarrell, let me know if you encounter any hurdles. And for the next 5 minutes, really take the time to upload content that you think speaks to you as an artist. And then we'll have hopefully another artist joining us very shortly. So let's do that. Let's put the music on. Let's get some inspiration moving and give you some time to really upload and post the content that you can share with everybody.
And you can put that under day 3.
Day 3, yes.
If you haven't seen the Padlet, it might look a little overwhelming at first. So.
Hey, I gotta go. We're shutting down, but I will log back in if you guys are still around when I get home. A little bit.
We'll be here till 6, and if not, no worries. Melvin, this was such a great experience getting to know you and what you do.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your multitasking today. And yeah, I hope that you gained something from this session today.
Yeah, definitely did. Definitely, seriously. And yeah, we all got to connect later and stuff like that. So, okay, but
Please, I would love
catch
that.
you.
Yeah,
All right,
love that.
catch you guys
Thank you.
later.
Thanks, Melvin.
Thanks, Ellen. Bye.
All right, see ya.
We have about 2 minutes. I know Darrell, it looks like his screen is blank, but it looks like he's probably working on that Padlet and dropping links like crazy. So keep it up. We'll have some artists such as the ones that we have here, the beautiful artists that we have here, sharing some work about what they do and what makes them thrive. So, yep, give yourself another minute to post. Great. Renee and China. We also have Darrell. Darrell, keep doing what you're doing, whatever that is. And we're going to have one of these lovely ladies do their pitch. It's only right.
Sure.
They're the ones that have allowed me to do this with you. So let's get it going. Let's get it started.
Do you want to go first, Renee? Or do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm going first. All right. So hi, my name is China May, and I am an entrepreneur, public artist, and educator. I help people make their dreams a part of their destiny through art. That's what I came up with the prompt that you gave us. And I'll share my presentation. Give me 1 second. Okay. Can you see my screen all right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let's see. So this is a venture that we started with Operation Arts last year, actually, where we started making these free little art galleries. It's been such a beautiful journey because I always wanted to be a public artist, but didn't really know how to get into that. And this is in Edmondson Park. And let me see. And our logo that we created for this programming, our intern actually created from South Carolina. Her name's Emily Moffett. So thank you, Emily. And we also made one in Gateway. We made another one this year in Bartlett Park and another one in Tacoma Park. This is the one that I just finished painting, which took a really long time for what I had to do. And then also this year, under my for-profit, Your Destiny's Dream, and through the help of Danny, who's not here today, I also did little free libraries. So I try to tell different stories through these different libraries. So this one is The Wizard of Oz. And this one's The Lorax. And this one is The Never Ending Story. And this one is a free little food pantry. I would show you my website, but it's under construction right now, so this is the best that I got. So yeah.
This is such a cool concept. Oh my gosh.
Thank
Wow.
you.
So China, how do you get artist work in here? How are you able to do that?
So we ask for donations, and then people that come by, kind of like guerrilla style, they come by and drop off their art, or we have art making workshops. And then people in the community donate books or food periodically, different nonprofits and local organizations. And but yeah, that's one of our programming. We really love bringing art to the community. It's something that we started because during the pandemic we had to close our gallery doors down. And actually one of the last shows that we had was actually with you, like right before the pandemic, actually, from Launch Workplaces.
Yep.
And then we wanted to keep bringing art to the people. So we created our own spin on this concept, because we don't just bring art, we also share people's stories. So if you follow at Art Magnet MD, you can also see all the stories that people tell through their art at our locations. And the other thing I wanted just to show briefly is this, like, so right now we got to do also a green bus rooftop with Daniel Collins. And this is a nice sign that my intern from Indiana actually helped me design. So it's just been so cool to, hire our interns after they work for Operation Arts for my for-profit, and just, full circle really help bring art and education to the community.
That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And I think the creative spin on it, with putting people's work in galleries and transforming that into, it doesn't matter where you are, you can still love and appreciate, respect, and honor artists by just walking through a park. And that concept is so rich and substantial, and I'm super influenced by that. I think that's amazing. Just a few things about that in particular that could be interesting. And I kind of gave this little nugget to Darrell, but sharing a story of one in particular could be really interesting. And it could even be yours. And it could even be part of your life that you didn't surface really until you had this gallery concept, and you share just bits of yourself in each, installation that you create. So yeah, giving us a little bit more from behind the curtain, revealing a little bit of Oz. I know that you mentioned the Wizard of Oz, but just getting a little peek of what that looks like, and some of the stories that are in there. So yeah, you had some media coverage on that, I saw, and
Yes,
it was really cool.
we did.
Really
And I just want to put this out there. Out of our board members, I'm the super awkward one because Renee and Dan are both performers. I am not. So for me, it took me years of practice, even for teaching kids for 6 years and being in front of a screen and in person. I am still not great at public speaking. So I am just throwing that out there for anyone watching this that might feel bad. Do not feel bad. We're all works in the making, and, practice makes perfect. I still stumble every now and then, but, learning how to pick yourself back up and keep going, that's something that Renee taught me. And, it's just been really beautiful to see everyone really grow. And same with you, Saz, because we started at Raw, which is crazy because that was also my first show. And just to see each other bloom has just been such a blessing.
I can say there hasn't been a lot that's happened since that point. So it is cool to grow with each other. And I think the fact that you have this artist network, the fact that we have artists here that are connecting from all walks of life, we are serving the greater good in an exceptional way. I think the community element of it cannot be underestimated. We do benefit from being with each other and interacting with each other in spaces like this. So amazing things happen, yeah, when we join forces like now. So, yeah, super excited to see your growth. And yeah, public speaking is not everyone's forte. It is scary and daunting, but just think about all the progress you've made thus far and know that, you have so much amazing, incredible heart and potential. And, speaking comes a little bit by bit with time. Even for myself, I think about sometimes, speaking and using filler words like and like. I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. So we all have things that we can use to grow, and there are places and spaces for us to keep doing that. So yeah, this being one of them. Thank you, China, for sharing.
Thank
Yay!
you.
All right, Renee, are you ready?
Yeah, I can be ready. All right, I'll share. Since China told the group about some of our wonderful art magnet projects, I'm gonna share my sauce because that's a business that I created and just have not been putting enough time into, and it's something I really love. Like, I love food. I've been a chef for over a decade. Oh my gosh, it's like 15 years. Shh, that made me feel old. But let me share this site. So, I know this is a judgment-free zone, but still don't judge me. I haven't worked on it much. This is what I got going on. This is my Maryland Mumbo. Alrighty. So, this is my product, Maryland Mumbo sauce. I created it because I love sauce. I am a chef. I love food, and I love the way sauces can really kick up any meal you're having. So I like Mumbo sauce is a sauce that is so indicative of PG County, of DC, of the DMV region. But I was like, you know what? Every time I go out to the carryout, they keep giving me this sweet and sour sauce, and it's no longer Mumbo sauce. It no longer feels like it represents our region, our people, our city. And I was like, you know what? Let me step up. I'm gonna fill this hole. I'm gonna make a sauce that I feel like represents our culture, represents our people, represents that Maryland flavor. So I came up with the Maryland Mumbo sauce, as you see here. My wonderful photography skills. But I got tired of I kept making excuses and making excuses. I'm like, you know what? We're not gonna push this back anymore. I'm just gonna make it. And I brought it to life, and now I get to share this flavor of something I love that I feel like really represents our people, represents our area. And I can share this flavor of our community with everyone with a sauce. No matter where you are, put it on your burgers, put it on your fries, put it on those shrimps. Scrimps. It's great on scrimps.
So if you could give me some descriptive language, as if you are putting your sauce in an advertisement and you want to entice people to buy it, how would you describe the flavor?
Alrighty, so I have it on here, but it is a thick, sweet, spicy, tangy, savory sauce that really fills every taste bud and explodes with that Maryland flavor.
Wow. Oh, I really felt like I was watching you on a commercial, and that's how it should feel sometimes when you listen to each other's, pitches and work. It should feel like you're trying to entice somebody to look at your stuff and be genuinely interested about it. So, yeah, I like the fact that you emphasized sweet, tangy, thick. And these are some great words that are used to describe this amazing product. So, yeah, I would be dropping descriptive language left and right and sticking in all those wonderful, words about what it tastes like and, how it elevates food.
Yeah.
So really, really exceptional. And where can we get this Mumbo sauce? Only online?
Yeah, it's only online right now. And the next year I'm going to be working on find some locations to get it out to, just because there's a little bit of when you're selling food products, there's a little red tape. But right now you can get it at the mdmumbo.squareup.com. Yeah, that site. I'll make sure I put it in the Padlet. And we're as Darrell was speaking on earlier, I'm one of those people who's selling the stuff out the back of my truck. You got to hit me in my DMs.
So, Renee, I have a proposal for you. I know I have a really close connection to a hot dog shop that just opened on the Avenue in Hamden. And I think this could be something that they might be interested in selling or even putting on the hot dogs if you want. to think about that or come with me to the hot dog shop at any point, let me know.
Yeah, let's definitely link on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think this could be a really cool thing for them to add to their menu. So really, really great connecting. Some networking happening right here. Putting you in touch with Hot Dog Central.
Do it. Let's do it. It'll keep me motivated to actually keep making sauce. Every time I make it, it's always immediately gone. So I know the people love it. I just have to get the product out there.
It's been tested and approved. So you know whatever you're doing is correct and you're moving in the right direction. But it would be awesome. Do you have aspirations for this to be in restaurants or on shelves at the grocery store?
I do. Honestly, I was going to start promoting it at Bowie State University next door where I work at, actually, and where I'm a student. They have a little entrepreneurship academy there, and they had offered me the chance to share it there. But I would like it to be like as competitive as Capital City Mumbo, which is everywhere. They picked it up at Walmart. They have it at Kmart, and I'm not gonna knock on the product, but I'm just saying I feel like it could be a competitor.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Oh my gosh. We should be thinking and speaking about our work that way. I think even though we're in a space where maybe we feel comfortable, everyone can elevate. Everyone can think about what are my next steps? What are ways that I can level up the business and take it a step further? So for anyone listening, still listening, that will be maybe listening to this recording, think about a place and space, a goal that you have, and make sure that you set those goals for, every month, every few months, and every year, because you should feel like there are places and ladders and steps that'll take you higher than where you are now. So always having a growth mindset, super important. Super important. Oh, thank you for dropping links.
Oh yeah, links in the chat, and it's on the Padlet.
Links in the chat. Links in the chat. All right. Zoom needs a music video called Links in the Chat.
Links in the chat. Links in the chat.
I didn't even know you had a website because the lady at Edmondson has been like asking about you and asking about you. So you definitely have to get these in stores or at this hot dog stand or somewhere because it's bomb. It's definitely bomb.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, eager to try. So eager to slap that on a burger at some point. So we'll be in touch. So Summer Blake is an artist who mentioned that she would drop by. I know a lot of artists, like 19 of them signed up for today. So something wild and crazy and spontaneous happened, and it's okay. So if anything, I just want to make the rest of our time useful by maybe talking about other things that have helped with pitching your business out loud in various spaces. Where have you been able to find the most feedback for your voice? I know, Darrell, you mentioned that you were at an entrepreneurship event. Where were you able to share your information today?
I'm driving now, but it's cool.
Okay.
So I host a lot of them. We have a selfie space. I actually shared it in the link you sent as well. But yeah,
it's beautiful.
I host my own, but then I think by me hosting so many, then I'll go on podcasts. I know personally, growing up, I never spoke. So when people see me now, and they be like, "You're not even the same person," because I never spoke in school. I was always very quiet and just observing everybody because I felt like what I had to say wasn't important. But now it's like there are still some. I feel like I have a lot of weak points, and I be like, I don't like being nervous. I don't like not knowing what to say. So I say, if I put myself in the fire and I have to speak, then sooner or later I'm just going to be a beast. And now when people hear me talk, like I was talking today, and people was like, everybody came up to me and was like, "Listen, can you mentor me?" And I'm like, me? You want me to mentor you? I don't, I don't know. I mean, I can, I guess. I don't know, but I just put myself out there to just to learn and just to get better at, speaking. Because in this field, we have to do it. So, yeah.
I think that's amazing. It's one of the best ways to learn. You need to be able to take the risks and get a little uncomfortable. And once you put yourself in those spaces, you see yourself doing things that you never thought you could. And people are inspired by that. They gravitate to that. And they see you going after it and getting out there. So, Darrell, you're doing the right things. Something that I tried a few years ago. Have you heard of Toastmasters?
No, what's that?
Toastmasters is actually a speaking club that you can join, and there are chapters in every educational institution, in a lot of businesses. I used to attend a chapter at Morgan State University, and you get up in front of people in the club, and the clubs can range. They can be like 5 people to 50. And what you do is there are different themes throughout the club's event that you can speak on, and they present those themes in the beginning, and on the spot, you have to talk about them. Some of it's premeditated. Some of these events go on a schedule where you have to prepare something ahead of time. But then you have parts of the meeting that are called table topics. They give a topic, and you have like 5 minutes to speak about it, but you can't go over. And then at the end, you get constructive criticism about your delivery. And believe it or not, there are so many events that get you incredible exposure through Toastmasters. I was in a competition right before COVID, and I was able to do table topics in front of, like 100 people, and I got an award for it. And once you get an award, you get to like move up, and there's an international speaking competition if you get the privilege of, moving up far enough. So look into Toastmasters. I think Toastmasters could be right up your alley. And if you want people to not like put so much light on you and responsibility on you for teaching them, you can point them in the direction of Toastmasters. You'd be like, hey, heard about this club. You should really look into that. But if you want to do it personally, I think you would thrive there, and you get even better, and you could promote your business there. So cool.
I really, really want to do that because, like I said, I'm always, like I said, in school, you know how they be like, all right, anybody want to answer the question? I always look away like, I'm not talking. But when I got older, like I would say when I was 26, I said, I don't care how nervous I am. I don't care, whatever. I'm going first. Because if I go first, it doesn't matter. Like, I got it out the way. Whether I was stuttering or slipping up, I got it out the way. And I think you said Toastmasters. I would love to, because freestyling is one, I do music.
Oh, so cool.
When you say on the spot, that's kind of how it was yesterday at the entrepreneur meetup. It was more, they had topics that they didn't tell us what it was. They were just like, so what do you think about how do you tell a person to stay positive inside of entrepreneurship and building a business when you're working a 9 to 5? And I lived that. So when I spoke it, I was able to reach so many people because, like you said, I was personal. I was very personal about what I do as far as working a 9 to 5, multiple ones, in order to invest into a business that is not really making a lot of money. And I stay motivated with blah, 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 blah. So whatever Toastmasters is, I'm trying to be down. Like that's yeah.
Dude, I dropped a link in the chat. Check it out. See what universities are closest to you. And I think that could be something where, you could promote a business there. You can practice your speaking there. You get a lot of accolades if you're, someone that moves up in Toastmasters. You get awards at the wazoo. You get to elevate yourself and speak on bigger stages. And the bigger the stage, the more people watching. And I think that could really bring in some genuine, patrons and supporters of what you do.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it seems like you got a lot of confidence. You got to take advantage of that. You got to share that with the world, you know?
Trust me, like I said, that's why I appreciate this, because I'm a sponge, and whatever somebody can teach me, I'm like, just give me all the information so I can just regurgitate it and just live it. Because when you said inside of what I was talking, when you said that the one thing about, you know, add more to the story, I'm not gonna say I was hesitant. It was more like I was overthinking 5 minutes. Like, are you talking too much? So
No,
like, chill out,
no,
chill
you
out.
have a really big stage today, actually, because a bunch of artists, aren't here. But if anything, you were able to speak about your work more so and get more out of this exercise today, which is awesome. I think personally, a lot of people were maybe scared about coming, and that's okay. But if they listen to it, maybe they can think about certain elements that might help their speech and public speaking. So I think whatever you've gained today, I like the fact that you kept saying sponge. We all need to be sponges, and we need to stop telling ourselves that, oh, we know enough about something, because there's always something to learn and something to add to elevate our own work. And this is something I know you're already really good at. I think you have a natural gift, even though maybe you're telling yourself, I don't know if I do. You do. I think you really do. So
Thank you.
keep reaching people and use speech to do that, because personally, I think your speech will take you so far, and it's just going to help your business grow. The more you're talking about it, the more you captivate people with these stories, there's no denying the fact that they won't support whatever you have going on. So join markets, go to festivals, get yourself on a stage at Toastmasters, and just keep doing what you're doing, Jarrell, because you're making magic. Okay, so just keep doing that.
Going everywhere now. Like when I end with you guys, I gotta get my daughter, but I have to. I'm telling you this. I'm going to, on my TikTok. You actually gave me an idea, and I feel like I've been looking. I've been trying to figure out this one thing on my TikTok of how I can present myself, and I think I'm going to utilize what you said. Every day I'm going to always do motivational speaking, but also just telling the stories from the brands in the store, which is crazy. I've been trying to figure this out for the longest time, and now I feel like
Make it juicy.
I
Do the
love that.
rags to riches, baby. Rags to riches.
Yeah.
This girl was living in a van. She had no hope, like she lost everything. You gotta make those stories and put them in the light, get some good imagery behind it. Woo!
Yeah, I got
Amazing.
it. I got it. Wow,
Thank
that's
you
dope.
so much for joining us today, though. Get your daughter.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Saz, I do have some questions for you while we have our last 5 minutes wrapping up. So, with public speaking, having a small group of people is much different than being in front of 30, hundreds, thousands. Do you have any advice about larger groups, talking in front of larger groups, not getting stage fright, and how to overcome that?
So with larger groups, it's really easy to get psyched out about it and start sweating. But really what does help is mastering eye contact and not looking above the crowd or
So where do
into
you
a
look
bright
then?
light. What?
Where do you look then? Because eye contact, there's so many eyes. Where do you look then?
So I know it's hard. I know people are like, you're nuts, you're crazy. You've got to find people in the front rows that where you could actually create eye connection and contact. You got to look for those people, and you have to like bounce from person to person and speak to them that way, because you create this intimate moment with that person. Everyone starts to go away. And I know that sounds wild, like how they're right in front of you, they're there, they're not going anywhere. Well, when you have eye contact where you lock that gaze and truly interact singularly, it's easy to speak like you're talking to someone and having a conversation with them versus a whole massive group of people where you're just having the need to resort to reading off of a prompter. You're having a conversation. And if you remind yourself that you're having a conversation, the best speakers are the ones that feel like they're just talking to you with no one else in the room. Those are the best speakers. You feel at home with those speakers. You feel like, okay, I can get coffee with you and, I want to hang out with you, because they're able to have this conversation, but put it themselves in a bigger spotlight with tons of people and make it still feel intimate. That's what you want. You want to create that intimacy by locking gaze, not the whole time. Be careful about that. Maybe keep it there for 30 seconds to a minute and then on to the next person, or not even 30 seconds. That could feel a little long, but at least 20. At least
I love
20.
that,
Yeah,
because I've seen people do that in public speaking engagements, and I didn't understand how important that was. So that's super awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then I have one more question. So for me, in the beginning, I was actually afraid of the camera. So I'm wondering, for people that are camera shy, how do you overcome that for virtual public speaking, like how we are now?
So there are really amazing resources out there. I don't know if you've ever heard of Loom. Loom,
No.
yep, it's a video resource where you could actually record yourself an abundant amount of times. And it helps you because you're able to do different modes of presentation where your face is on the side of a presentation like this, like a Zoom style. You can also record yourself with different settings that allows you to look back easily and really constructively critique yourself. So it's a great tool for that. And, you can record yourself X amount of times. It's not like you have to post it right away like you would like an Instagram story, right? You don't feel that pressure. And you can save all these videos, reflect back and look at them and see what are some things I'm doing consistently that I need to break. And then once you pinpoint what those things are, I recommend trying to find ways to elevate your setting and making sure that you're in a space virtually where not only the light is properly placed on you, not only is the background not distracting, but your body is centered and it is allowing you to speak with confidence because your imagery is confident, right? I'm here, my body is shown. Everyone who does virtual events, they say, by they, I mean speaking experts and all the speaking courses that I've ever taken, they say it's important to make sure that your chest and above is seen. So not too close, not too far, but you want to make sure that you're at a proper distance that people can receive you and look at your facial expressions and truly digest what you're telling them. So yeah, you want to use all of the in-person elements like body language, posture, expression, pace, right? Articulation. But then you really have to throw into the mix the other elements around you, like the background and the lighting. So once that's there and you can properly see yourself in a professional setting, other things start to fall into place. It does become easier when you can practice in a state that feels professional. And you can practice your diction and you can practice your pace with recording yourself on platforms like Loom. Look back at what you've done and then really go in there and neatly pick out the things that you genuinely want to improve on, or send the video, because you can send right then and there as you make it. It gives you a link. You can send it to a friend or someone you trust, and they can give you constructive feedback on it. There's nothing better than that. Anytime I'm telling someone that you want to up your virtual game, do all the things that I mentioned about your setting, your storytelling, your articulation, get all that beautiful speaking stuff out of the way. Then send it. Send that video to someone who you know will give you the feedback. It could be me. I'll do it gladly for you. And then once you get that feedback, you'll know it's genuine. You can start working on those things bit by bit. So that's the best
I love
advice
that.
I have to share.
And I have one more question, then we can end.
Yeah.
So other than the camera on your screen for a laptop, I find that also the cameraman, like on TV appearances, whole other thing. And half the time, what happens, people like panic when they're like being in front of your webcam is one thing, but being in front of like a cameraman, totally different thing. Where do you look at? Do you look at him? Do you look at the camera? Do you look away? Um, any pointers for that for public appearances as well?
I think it depends on the public appearance because, you know, if you're being interviewed, you want to speak at the person who's interviewing you. And, you know, the camera person, they're responsible for getting the different angles of you. So I know it's hard to pretend it's not there, but you really just want to lock engagement with whoever you're speaking with. And similar to the style of speaking to hundreds of people, you want to make sure that you're creating an intimate moment with whoever that person is. And if it's just you and a camera, I'm sorry that you have to look at a lens and treat it like a human, but essentially that's exactly what you need to do. And it will take practice. If you can, this is something kind of funny and sweet. You can get a camera that you have at your house, you know, sitting in your home. You can prop it on a stand and you can practice talking to that in your room, and then with, you know, your significant other who might be not afraid to tell you, oh, that sounded weird, right? So think about creating settings, creating the setting in your own home, and then once you're ready, you can transfer all of that valuable learning and information and, you know, everything you've done at home to the actual camera space once you're ready.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of your wonderful advice and helping us helping us and everyone who attended tonight and everyone who's going to watch this later work through their fears or misconceptions or just questions they have about being a public speaker. And thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for having me. And I look forward to spending the next 2 days with you guys. Yay.
All righty.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this evening for Cultivating Creatives and our wonderful Saz Ross. And we hope to see you again tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.